Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial, and today, because Thanksgiving is approaching, we're going to talk about the refrigerator spaces on board the battleship and just how big they are. We're also going to talk a little bit about food consumption with some numbers that we've got from our research. So, first off, Battleship New Jersey was designed to carry about 2,000 sailors. Her maximum during World War II was about 2,700 sailors on board. Her minimum in the 1980s was about 1,600 sailors on board. The ship was designed to be able to carry enough food and fuel to stay underway unsupplied for about 30 days. Now, of course, she can do underway replenishment to extend that or to supplement that, but keep in mind that our refrigeration spaces are good for over 2,000 people for a month. So just how big do those spaces need to be? Because the spaces are so large and, of course, empty now, they all more or less look the same. We're not going to go and wander through several different watertight compartments of refrigerated spaces. So we're just going to show you the size of one of them. But to give you an idea of the total capacity, we're going to measure them on my booklet of general plans here. But first, here's a word from our sponsors. Today's video is brought to you by Established Titles. Established Titles uses the ancient Scottish tradition of making landowners a laird or lady, lord or lady, by simple merit of owning property in Scotland. So Established Titles allows you to buy as little as 1 square foot of property in Scotland to become a Scottish lord or lady. This is a prefix like Mr. or Mrs. that you can put on things like your plane tickets, your credit cards, and even your dating profiles. That one's my favorite. They send you a certificate like this one. I'm Lord Ryan Szymanski now. Established Titles makes a great last-minute gift idea. Remember, the holiday season is approaching. And they donate to One Trees Planted and Trees for the Future. I absolutely love this environmentalism about the company. Remember to use the discount code BATTLESHIP to get 10% off your next purchase. And the first 200 people who purchase will get a plot right next to mine in the same kingdom. Established Titles makes a great last-minute gift, and they're running an amazing sale right now in addition to our discount code. So go over there soon. Go to establishedtitles.com/battleship and use the discount code BATTLESHIP to get your gifts now and support our channel and our museum. So, to measure the size of a space on the ship, you need a booklet of general plans. In New Jersey's case, and pretty common for ships, our booklet of general plans is in a scale of 1/16 of an inch equals 1 foot. So, if you get your ruler out, and you know how many train cars long a space is, you can figure out how big it is. There is a copy of the booklet of general plans in a PDF down in the comment section down below, so you can follow along with us in person if you like. Otherwise, we're just going to go to my copy here. The refrigerators are all on 4th deck, beneath crew's berthing, aft of turret number 3. So the galley space is just forward of turret number 3 on 2nd deck. To get to the reefers, you got to go all the way down to 4th deck aft of the armored bulkhead there. So that is just for enlisted mess, for chief's mess, for the officer's mess, for the captain's pantry. They are all coming at this space from significantly further away. Now, it's interesting to note that in the final construction of the ship, the refrigerator spaces represent part of the reserve of buoyancy of these ships. They are part of the armored box that also encloses the steering gear. So they count as part of the armored citadel of the ship, and it's a huge volume that's filled with air that helps the ship stay afloat if we start to take damage and flood. Early drafts of the plan, where the ship is still limited by the Washington Naval Treaty's escalator clause, or the London Naval Treaty's escalator clause, do not have this armored box there, but by the time they're constructing the ship, they installed it, and it adds a tremendous amount of space to the reserve of buoyancy. So, looking at the plans here, we've got one complete watertight section that is refrigerated space, and one complete watertight section that is freezer space. So, we've got one entire section is fruits and vegetables, and there are 4 separate rooms in that section. And then another section after that, you've got 3 rooms that are meat storerooms. You've got a thawing room. You've got a fruit and vegetable storeroom back there as well, and a butter and eggs storeroom. So these spaces are, let's see, about 4 1/4 inches long. So that's 4 times 16, 64 feet wide at the widest point. Of course, because it's at the back of the ship, it's coming back at an angle. And then you've got that extra quarter there, so that's an extra 4/16. So it's 68 feet long at the widest. And then that drops down to 4 inches total at the back end. So 68 to 64 feet. And it is 1 3/4 long. So that is 16 plus 12, 28 feet long. So let's just say 28 times 66. So that is 1,848 square feet dedicated just to the vegetables in the forward part, fruits and vegetables. And then the after part, so we'll say that's an average of 56 inches wide. And then we've got 2 full inches long, so that's 32. So that's another 1,960 square feet. And remember, this is just for refrigerated and frozen, like fresh food. The ship also has a ton of storerooms for canned foods and preserved foods of other sorts that don't need to be refrigerated. So that gives you an idea of the massive amount of storage capacity that a battleship needs. All right, so now we've got the ship's 1968 command history. This is a declassified command history. You can read the whole thing online. All right, so we are in Appendix F, page 71, and this says all of the food that the Vietnam era crew, which was roughly 2,000 people, so roughly what the ship was designed for, during the year 1968. Now keep in mind the ship was only commissioned in April of 1968, so this is really just 3/4 of the year. For frozen meat, 322,969 pounds consumed by 2,000 people in that 3/4 of a year. Fresh milk, 53,540 gallons. Fresh fruit and vegetables, 285,783 pounds. Frozen fruit and vegetables, 45,608 pounds. So that is interesting to see that most of the fruit and vegetables is like 500% more fruit and vegetables is being consumed fresh than frozen. So that is interesting to see. Fresh eggs, 49,754 dozen. That's not even a weight. That's, yeah, so that's 600,000 individual eggs eaten by the crew in that year, which divide that by 2,000. Yeah, so that is 300 eggs a person, which is roughly 1 egg per crew member per day that this covers. Or enough to last Gaston from Beauty and the Beast just a couple of days. In terms of bread and rolls, and these are all fresh because they're made in the ship's bakery, we've got 113,427 pounds. Coffee, you know, that Navy staple, 21,570 pounds. So I guess that means coffee grounds and not like liquid coffee, because other liquids here are measured in gallons. And beverage base, 32,448 gallons. So I don't know if that's like a liquid thing that you put into water to make Kool-Aid or bug juice or whatever, or I think of beverage bases as being like powders like Tang, but that wouldn't be measured in gallons. They certainly drank more than 32,000 gallons of liquid during the ship's career. Any commissary men out there know what beverage base is? Let us know in the comments section down below. So, now that we've covered all of this, let's head back aft and check out one of the reefers. The actual refrigerators that are more like what you would expect to see at home are closer to 1 curator capacity. These are just for storing the food that is being prepared for the next meal. So there are only a couple of them around the ship. We're in one in the ship's officer's galley, pretty close to amidships and very far from the enlisted galley. In fact, there are no walk-in refrigerators near the officer's galley. So if we're looking at the movie Under Siege, Gary Busey would have had to lock Steven Seagal into a refrigerator like this to lock him in one in the officer's galley. And Steven Seagal is a little bit broader across the shoulders than I am, so I'm not sure if that's a good fit. Also, it doesn't give him much room to hide when the terrorists come in. So, now that we've seen a normal-sized refrigerator, we're finally going to go and see the actual reefers. One of my favorite features is that all of the stairways around the reefers have slides on them for passing stuff down. Remember, it's down on 4th deck, so you're loading everything onto the fantail of the ship, and then it's, rather than having to carry it down these vertical ladders, you can just slide it. And then from down here, it's real easy to just take the supplies into one of the reefers. Come check them out. So just to orient you, we're in the after reefer deck, which is under after cruise mess and a berthing space. And in the center is a trunk, the ladder well we just came down. And then all around us are doors to enter the various reefers. And fortunately, each of these has a tag over it that says what's supposed to be in there. So, just to orient you some more, this way is facing forward, that way is aft. So this is the starboard side of the ship over here, and the port side of the ship over there. So forward of us, we've got the butter and eggs room, which has 2 separate caged-in areas. I'm guessing one for butter and one for eggs. You can see all the cooling coils and stuff in here. You can even see some of the old dehumidification piping there on the deck, and some of the grating that you would normally be walking on stored. You see the same sort of gratings in other supply spaces and magazines. Heading out on the port side, we've got one of the meats rooms. So look at the size of this space. As far as I know, they didn't divide between this room's going to be chicken, this room's going to be pork, this room's going to be beef, this one's going to be whatever else. But things would have been in boxes or containers that just said that. During World War II, it would have been more like, here is half a cow hanging up in here that in the butcher shop they would do the rest of the work with. By the 80s, it was just all prepackaged. And now heading out to the port side, we've got first a thawing room with several thawing racks. And then all the way to starboard, we've got another room of meats that's a little bit deeper than the other side. And the thawing room wraps all the way around to the port side. We got more meats. We got the meats. And more meats. So keep in mind, all of these spaces that we've passed through, I can't remember how many square feet it is, are just for frozen or refrigerated foods. One cool feature in these spaces So you've got this old gong pull right here. If one of these reefer doors closes from the outside while you're in here, you are now trapped in a space that is cold. You may or may not be dressed appropriate for that. So you can pull on the gong to warn other people that you are in here and they can come and find you. So, have any of you guys ever worked in food service before? How does this compare to the refrigerators at the places you've worked? Are they as big as you expect, or do you think they're battleship sized? Let us know in the comments section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate the support on this video from established titles that allows you to become a ceremonial Scottish lord. Remember, they're doing a sale right now. Check the link in the description below and use our discount code Battleship. You can also support the museum by liking, sharing, subscribing so more people find out about us and our channel. Thanks for watching.